All right, here's the part where we can talk about some of the controversy that started on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to stand by this. This is a topic that I felt kind of passionate about, and you guys might get your first BA rant from me today. Um, okay, here's what happened. Okay, I had a lot of people on Nebraska Twitter mad at me at the BA Coaches Show. Make sure you go follow. Um, I caused quite a bit of controversy because I said that if you think Bo Pelini should have been fired and have Mike Riley replace him, I can't have an intelligent football conversation with you. And maybe I could have worded that better, but I stand by that. And one of the things I was pointed out was those are two separate conversations. And I'll say, you know what? Yeah, I worded that poorly. Okay. I think the firing of Bo was arguable. I think it was stupid. And I'm going to go on about why that was stupid. But maybe they're not two hand in hands. But here's what I'm trying to say with this. If you think, even looking back in hindsight, if you think firing Bo Pelini and hiring Mike Riley was a good decision for this program, you are an idiot, and I can't have a full-on intelligent football conversation with you, and I'm not going to do it. Just going to throw that out there. The other part of this, I was getting a lot of shade from people telling me why we should have fired Bo Pelini, and I'm going to go, a lot of the arguments that I saw, I'm going to tell you why I disagree on that. And here's the other thing I gotta say, is I kind of had to block some people for the first time on Twitter. I really don't want to block any Husker fans, but if you're gonna go on there and just because I wasn't being aggressive towards anybody. Some people's first comment back to me was telling me to go kill myself and stuff. I was like, yo, let's chill out a little bit, guys. It's just football talk. I wasn't being angry towards anybody. And again, this was not like we had a back and forth and then they said it. It was, I think firing Bo Pelini was stupid. And they're like, oh, so I had to block some people. I also, for the first time ever, didn't even know I could do this. I could turn off to where you had to follow me to comment things. And I thought that was a good decision because I started getting a lot less hateful comments that way. Here's the thing. A lot of the arguments that I saw for firing Bo Pelini are weak at best. Okay. If you have a better argument, I'd love to hear it. But from what I heard, it was still terrible. Okay. Granted, I was 14 when he got fired, and 14-year-old me knew it was stupid, but he was 67-27 at Nebraska. He won a minimum of 9 games every year. You realize all of us fans are begging and pleading for us to get 6? We're begging for 6. And this guy was winning 9 every year. We're dying for that. If this team wins 9 games this year, we are losing our mind as a fan base. If we win 9 games, we're going to be one of the toughest places to play in the country because of how insane this thing's going to be. We're dying for it. One of the big arguments I saw was he lost the big games. He lost the big games against good teams. Here's the thing, dummies. Okay? I would rather be in a position right now where we're losing big games against big teams rather than losing every game against average teams. We're losing games to bad teams right now. The last few years. We're not even playing in big games right now because we're not good enough to play in big games. I never understand that argument, and I didn't understand it when I was 14 years old, and now I'm 24 years old, 10 years later, and it still doesn't make any sense to me. We're not playing in big games right now. Maybe you could make that argument at the time, but if you can't look back in hindsight and say how stupid that was, what are we doing? What are we having a conversation about? Okay? The other arguments I saw was he should have been fired because of the bad things he said about the fans, and he hated the fans. Okay? Do I love what he said about Nebraska fans? No, but I can at least understand it. And if you're going to fire him when it happens. Don't wait. Don't wait. Fire him right then. If that's the deal breaker for you, fire him right there. Oh, but you don't want to fire him because he was still winning games. Interesting. Again, I don't love it, but hey, a lot of what he said calling Nebraska fans entitled, I can't disagree with it. I wish he wouldn't have used some of the words you said, saying F up, F the fans and all that. Get that. Again, I'm glad he, came and apologized for it. I don't love it, but I at least understand where he's coming from. One of the other things I saw was he was a jerk to the refs. That's a hilarious complaint to me because one of the complaints you see on Mike Riley was he was just too nice of a guy. Which is it? You can't have it both ways, right? Bo Pelini's a fired up guy. He is. Is that how I coach and talk to refs? No, that's not how I coach. But he's winning games for a reason. His players know he backs him up. His players know he will go fight for them. I have talked to a few former players. I'm not in one of those positions where I'm like I'm not super, but like I've had conversations with guys. I've had guys that played there, coach college ball now, talk to me. Like I've talked to former players when I go up and visited camp. I got to talk to 3 or 4 former players that played for Bo and Mike Riley. Every single one of them have said how much better it was to play for Bo Pelini. They all love Bo. Maybe there's a guy out there that didn't love playing for Bo. I haven't heard it yet. I haven't. So for the fans to say, "Oh, he was a jerk," it's kind of hilarious because all the players loved him. Did he come unhinged at times? A&M comes to mind. Yeah, sure. Maybe he took it too far, but then you can't complain that he was crazy and took it too far when you're then going to complain that Mike Riley was just too nice and didn't get angry. Stupid, but not the stupidest argument I heard. The stupidest argument I heard was this. I had people actually commenting and saying, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Fire him because he wouldn't have been winning games as the Big Ten got better. Fire him because you know that the Big Ten got so much better, blah, blah, blah. Hold on. You're saying because the Big Ten was good in like 17, 18, 19, 20? Fire him in that for 2014? What? What are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? You're going to fire him for something that hasn't even happened yet. You're firing him for losing games he hasn't lost yet. So maybe, yes, the conference did get harder as time went on. Looking back in hindsight, yes, the conference got harder. Would we have been able to keep the 9-win seasons together? Maybe not, but who knows? You didn't give him a chance. So you're saying fire him for losing games he hasn't lost yet. Do you realize how stupid that sounds? Do you realize how absolutely stupid that? I could go back on Twitter and read you, but I'm not going to. Okay? Just know if you comment that and you happen to be listening to this, that's the dumbest argument I've ever heard. So you're telling me, because I don't know, Oklahoma's moving to the SEC. The SEC is going to be harder than the Big 12. Going to go fire Brent Venables because he hasn't been winning? Or he's not going to do as good in the SEC as he did in the Big 12. But what are you doing? You can't fire him for not losing games yet. A conference he was winning in the Big 10. Yes, looking back in hindsight, the Big 10 continued to get better and better. But you're going to fire him for losing games he hasn't even lost yet. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And yes, am I a bit passionate about that? Maybe. I have a son named Bo at this point. I'm a grown adult with a kid named Bo. Maybe I care about Bo Pelini too much. And I don't really care that. Like, hey, looking back 10 years later, it's fine. It's fine because I truly you're never going to find a bigger Matt Rule guy than me. I am a huge Matt Rule fan. I love every single assistant coach we have on staff. I've talked with a bunch of them. I talk to some of them weekly. They are great. They are great coaches. I love Matt Rule. I'm telling you, you're not going to find a bigger Matt Rule fan than me. So it's fine now. So I'm not even angry that we fired Bo Pelini still. What I'm angry about is that I was somehow the idiot when I got on social media and said that. I was somehow the dumb one for saying, oh, looking back, we shouldn't have fired him and hired Mike Riley. Somehow I was an idiot for that, and I can't understand it. So I just wanted to poke some holes in some of your things. I think that was a little bit of a rant. I think that was the first rant you guys have got to hear. So good job for that, guys. You got me fired up. But like I said, firing Bo Pelini was stupid. Did you enjoy that clip from the BA Coaches Show? Well, if you did, give us a like or a follow, subscribe, however you're watching this. Go check us out on all social media pages at the BA Coaches Show. We're talking all things Husker sports all the time. So check it out. Check out our podcast, check out our live streams, and go Big Red.